May your praises live in every word we speak, and with every gift of breath we breathe you in. All the works that you have done consume our hearts. Who in all the earth compares to who you are? Who in all the earth compares to who you are? Thousand hallelujahs, God, we lift to your name. Thousand hallelujahs, God, we lift up once again. All creation lifts its voice, declaring till the end, oh Lord, how great you are. May your praises live in every word we speak, and with every gift of breath we breathe you in.
ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Sayang mag-ibig, dalas na sinatanan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisigin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilagang tula ang awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nanininig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng malaking pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Bulacan State University, thy name will always be. You prepare us in life's journey for the service of God and society. You nurture our minds in diversity. Oh, great is thy faculty. BSU, your fame and beauty will uphold till eternity. Creative thoughts and skillful hands, to us your best gift of time. We will share our best to humanity for our nation's prosperity. Your vision is now our mission. We shall lead the next generation. The one is ingrained in our hearts, we will treasure and live on. Bulacan State University, forever will hold our
And now, to give us his words of reception and pertinent remarks, let us welcome the Vice President for Academic Affairs and the OIC Dean of the College of Science. Let us give a warm virtual applause for Dr. Edgardo M. Santos.
Thank you so much, Ms. Judy Ann Sumala, for that generous introduction. To my co-local administrators in the College of Science, led by our College Secretary, Dr. Ellen G. Manalaysay, Dr. Rainy Linduque, the Mathematics Department Head, Mr. Ben Strelia, the BS Mathematics Program Chair, our resource speakers in today's webinar, Ms. Mary Ann Magtulis, Mr. Jeffhraim Balilla, to all the faculty and student attendees, a pleasant morning to everyone. Well, at times we are asked what is being celebrated or commemorated during our birth month. Birthday celebrants of December would say they have Christmas. November birthday celebrants would speak of the All Saints' Day. February birthday celebrants would brag of the Valentine's Day. Those celebrating their birthdays on September would mention the World Teachers' Day. So goes the other months. But What about the month of October? I could only think of October as the month of the Holy Rosary, having been educated in a Catholic school during my high school days and having been employed as a teacher for 13 years in a secondary Catholic institution. Meron pa bang ibang masasabi nating selebrasyon for the month of October? A communication received by the university from the Philippine Statistics Authority early this month is enjoining the institution to undertake an activity for the celebration of the National Statistics Month. And just to share to the group that the National Statistics Month was first observed in 1990 pursuant to Presidential Proclamation number 647 signed by the then President Corazon C. Aquino on September 20, 1990, declaring the month of October of every year as the National Statistics Month. The NSM celebration aims to first promote, enhance, and instill awareness and appreciation of the importance and value of statistics to the different sectors of the society. And second, to elicit the cooperation and support of the general public in upgrading the quality and standards of statistics in the country. And that is why since October of 1990, every government agency is one with the NSO, with the PSA in celebrating the National Statistics Month. For this year, the theme is boosting the country's recovery with informed decisions, better policies. The 33rd SNM celebration emphasizes the critical role of statistics in crafting the most appropriate decisions and policies needed to boost recovery efforts. As the country's recovery continues to take off, the public and private sectors both play important roles by providing and producing the correct and right data, actively participating in economic activities, and making informed decisions from relevant information. Now, regarding the Bulacan State University's contribution to the 33rd National Statistics Month, the university president, Dr. Cecilia Navasero Gascon, tasked the College of Science to hold an activity related to the theme. I was not surprised with the assignation considering the president is aware that the college is offering BS Mathematics with a specialization in applied statistics. I would like to commend the mathematics department through the leadership of its head, Dr. Rainilyn Duque, and Mr. Ben Strelia, the BS Mathematics Program Chair, in conceptualizing this webinar. To all the members of the various committees created for this event, the program, registration, evaluation, documentation, and the technical committees, a big thank you. Maraming salamat po sa inyong contribution for this celebration. And to our homegrown resource speakers in the presence of Ms. Mary Ann C. Magtulis, who is not new to the celebration, being a former employee, a former administrator of the Philippine Statistics Authority. Thank you so much, Ma'am Mayan, for accepting this task and for sharing later. Her topic is truly relevant. It is entitled Policy Analysis Through Statistics Lens in the New Normal. And of course, Mr. Jeffhraim Balilla, a former student, a planning development office asset, and one of the College of Science faculty with great potential. He will be sharing understanding nursing workforce, turnover intention through statistics and evidence no, from Saudi Arabia. Truly, statistics has grown much from a mere subject of the science programs in the early 80s to a big topic that has penetrated not only the soft sciences but as well as the hard sciences, even geopolitics and governance, economics, just to mention a few, thereby affecting people in all fields of endeavors at this present times. At this juncture, let me share a statement from Mark Twain on statistics, and I quote, "The man in the street distrusts statistics and despises the image of statisticians, those who diligently collect irrelevant facts and figures and use them to manipulate the society." He even said that there are three kinds of lies: plain lies, damned lies, and statistics. Very unfortunate and frustrating considering the extensive use of statistics at these present times. Misinformation on any major event and issues has captured people's imagination during the past years, probably because of the COVID-19 lockdowns, and people were glued on the use of the social media, thereby emboldening them with, especially those with not so much good intentions, to use the opportunity at hand to disseminate fake information and distort the truth. Truly, the spread of fake informations offers unique challenges and dangers to the public. But why do people fall prey to fake data and fake statistics? Don't they know how to discriminate between what is true and what is false? Having such easy access to real facts and fact checkers surely takes care of the problem, right? Unfortunately, part of the reason that fake information is such a problem is that people do fall for them, and being shown the facts does not help correct this problem. I hope that the users, students, and enthusiasts of statistics would be instead purveyors of truth rather than the fallacies. So with that, maraming salamat po, and welcome to the seminar. Enjoy the learning experience. God bless you all, and God bless the College of Science.
Thank you so much, Dr. Santos, for thoughtfully welcoming our participants. Truly, the value of statistics in the sectors of the society is indeed indispensable. And of course, it is true that as digital citizens, we must be diligently sifting the information that we consume. So at this point of the program, let us get to know our first resource speaker. Professor Magtulis is an educator and a public servant. She attended her bachelor's degree from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, where she took up Bachelor of Applied Statistics in 1990. She earned her master's degree from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, under the local scholarship program of the Civil Service Commission, where she took up Master of Statistics. She had served as a statistician under Planning Service Department of DENR from 1992 up to 2020. Within the same agency, she was delegated as position of Planning Officer 2 from 2000 to 2002. She had also served as a staff consultant for ERDI, Asian Development Bank, last 2006, and was concurrently posted as a statistician 3 under the research division of PSRTI, formerly Statistical Research and Training Center, from 2002 up to 2007. She was appointed as a Chief Statistical Specialist with the position Statistician 5 under the Research and Information Technology Division and Training Division of PSRTI, or the Philippine Statistical Research and Training Institute, from 2007 up to 2018. The aforementioned were several highlights of her career before she opted to retire early last 2018. But as a dedicated public servant, she continued to offer her expertise as an instructor at the College of Mary Immaculate of Pandi, Bulacan Incorporated last 2009 up to the present year. And even now, she remains committed to extending her efforts and imparting knowledge as an assistant professor 3 in our beloved Bulacan State University. She had authored and presented numerous researches throughout her career and had managed, coordinated, and supported several studies, projects, and programs. She had also been a member of several professional organizations. Friends, I am honored to introduce to you all our first resource speaker. She is here to discuss about policy analysis through statistics lenses in the new normal. Let us welcome with a lively virtual applause, Ma'am Mary Ann C. Magtulis.
Okay. So, okay. Okay, again, magandang umaga sa lahat. I'm Ma'am Mean. You can call me Ma'am Mean. Ako'y galing po sa Philippine Statistical Research and Training Institute. Noong 2018, nag-early retirement ako. At ang Philippine Statistics Authority ay parang sister company namin. Since the 2012 reorganization of the Philippine Statistical System, nagkaroon na naman ng 2 statistical agency na ang Philippine Statistical System. At yun nga ang aming ahensya at ang Philippine Statistics Authority. Alright. So, kaya close sa heart ko ang PSA as well as of course ang dati kong pinanggalingan ng PSRTI na kung saan ang aking material ay hinama ko. Of course with some adaptation. So let me just share my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Visible na po.
So again, thank you for this time na I can again share my knowledge and experiences on statistics, this time on policy analysis through statistics lens in the new normal. So this is the flow of my presentation. Of course, we wish to describe situation, and sa first part pa lang, I wish to state some importance in, of course, the use of statistics. Some policy formulation, we wish to define policies as well as the policy analysis. Again, in another use of statistics is by way of formulating indicators, and finally, some statistical tools I will mention, and of course, some conclusion. Describing situation. Allow me to share with you some statistics graphs from the government website, various government website. Like for this one, we can see sa provincial office of Bulacan, that ang ating cases ng COVID-19 is still there. We are still in the pandemic. Kaya lagi tayo pa rin mag-iingat. na ito'y disaggregated by province, by municipality and city, at nakikita natin nag-i-spike no, pa rin sa mga lugar na urbanized, na like the San Jose del Monte, ang Malolos, no, and even Santa Maria. You can also see as a policy direction ng ating provincial na nag-a-administer pa rin tayo patuloy ng vaccination as of course cure no to finally na makabangon sa pandemic na to no, kaya kami tayo natutuwa dahil malaking porsyento na ang nabakunahan no sa ating probinsya sa Bulacan. Why am I stating all this at sa mga sumusunod na statistics, mga graphs, mga visuals, no? Because sa mga bagay na to, nakikita natin na may mga polisiya, may mga action points, no? Ang ating gobyerno para sa mga pangkasalukuyang concern ng ating society. Next, itong age-specific fertility rate. I'm not sure kung ang National Demographic Health Survey ay merong mas latest kaysa sa 2017, pero dito pa lang from 2013 to 2017 may pagbaba no, ng fertility rate, which is the main reason really is may tagumpay no, na naganap sa mga family planning policies na meron tayo. No? Sa lahat ng age specifics, no? May pagbaba. And I'm sure pababa rin to no? Sa mga susunod na taon. Ito naman ay ang inflation. Of course, tayo ay nasa kalagitnaan ng pandemic, tapos pagtaas pa ng presyo, merong konting concern no, sa ating ekonomiya na may pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin. Itong inflation rate ay nanggaling sa Consumer Price Index no, as computed from the percent change no, from one CPI to another CPI. Kaya nagkaroon ng inflation rate or like this, and it is being maintained by the Philippine Statistics Authority in coordination with the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Dito pa lang, ito'y tinitingnan palagi, no? Hindi lang basta ito pinababayaan ng ating gobyerno. I'm sure merong mga polisiya, mga hakbangin, especially ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, para matugunan no? Yung itong pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin. Marami silang ginagawa doon. Say, of course, like sa money supply, meron silang ginagawa doon. And maybe sa exchange rate, meron din silang ginagawa doon para hindi masyado mag-spike no? yung mga presyo ng bilihin. In one of the news na I've heard with the USEC Rosie De Leon, no? Ini-encourage niya ang mamamayan na magpababa ng demand. No? Kasi sa pagbaba ng demand ng mga bilihin, ay it can also help decrease prices. And of course, kasama rin doon ang ating mga producing departments o mga opisina sa gobyerno na tumutulong sa production ng iba-ibang products, mga commodities, tumutulong sila to increase supplies. And in that sense, no, ang pag-increase ng supply would also help decrease prices. So itong mga nababanggit kay mga policy directions ng mga ginagawang hakbangin ng gobyerno. Sunod, ang poverty incidence, mga mahihirap. Of course, di natin maisasantabi ang katotohanan na talagang tumaas pa din ang dami na mahihirap nung pagpasok ng pandemya. No? From 2015, 23.5%, bumaba ng 6 to 16.7 noong 2018, pero kumunting tumaas no sa 2021 kasi ito nga yung panahon na nagkaroon na tayo ng pandemya. Itong data na to ay galing sa Philippine Statistics Authority. Mayroong team doon na nagsasagawa ng statistics on poverty at meron silang mga estimation. Itong data na to ay base sa Family Income and Expenditure Survey na, at dahil dito nagkaroon ng ganitong mga daktos. Alright, at ito'y ginagamit ng ating mga policy makers, decision makers, para makita na okay, ito palang aming mga policy dapat mas dagdagan pa namin. Ito yung mga options, policy options, para bumaba, lumiit pa itong incidents ng mga mahihirap. And I think ito yung last for the introduction pa lang. On the employment rate, it is series ng galing sa datos ng Philippine Statistics Authority using yung results of the labor force survey, which is done quarterly. Ito ay makikita natin na mayroong, of course, some point in time tumaas yung unemployment, pero of course pababa na din at dumadami na rin tumataas na rin ang employment rate. Of course, dahil this mga policy direction like increasing say investments, mga job opportunities, and of course skill enhancement na maraming nagaganap na ganon para matugunan ang kanilang mga pangailangan para magkaroon ng maganda at may kalidad na trabaho. Now, for formulation of policies and policy analysis, nais natin itong talakayin at sa simula pa lang makikita natin may papel ang statistics sa paggawa ng mga policy at even sa pag-analyze ito. Right. Sige. So what is policy, no? So typically described as principle rules. Alam natin, policy, mga batas, mga panuntunan na kailangan natin gawin, no? Of course, not only that, no, they are guide to for decisions, no? Para meron kang ma-achieve na ninanais na outcome. It is also a purposive or something intentional course of action based on societal values followed in dealing with a matter or concern. Of course, we draft policies kasi meron kang mga pangailangan, meron kang nakikita sa society na dapat magbigay ng gabay, no, ng panuntunan, ng direksyon, no, para anumang pangailangan na to ay mabigyan ng solusyon. No? So sa ganun pa lang nakikita, paano kaya yun? Paano nagagawa kung merong may mga concerns? Siyempre, we have data, we have ways of making that. And doon pa lang pumapasok na ang statistics. Pangatlo, policies are distinct from procedures and guidelines, which are operational instructions or processes for applying a policy decision. So may procedurals, mga guidelines, and I will discuss this as we go by. Policy can be broad and visionary. It's visionary like sa natin, we want na we dream of something. We want some outcomes to be met, no? Kaya mayroong mga policy. We set direction. Ano ang dapat na gagawin, mga panuntunan papunta doon. Hindi lang basta, okay, gawin natin to. Ito ang dapat natin na mangyari. So dapat meron kang ini-aim at. So that's policy. It's express standards, behaviors, and expectations to guide actions. A concept or stated position of intended outcomes. And be a principle of statement of principle. So ganun ang policy. Applying this to public policy, no? Sabi ni Thomas Dye, whatever governments, so it's applying sa meaning public policy sa government, whatever government choose to do or not to do, that's public policy. No? According to Anderson, 1994, it's a course of action. And of course, pwede rin inaction chosen by public authorities to address a given problem or interrelated set of problems. No? So there are, of course, these are policies that are made, no, to address specific, concern, to solve problems. Okay, It also serves as the enabling and guiding framework. Framework, we say na it's a direction. It's something that you want to happen. That in a gist, you want to see, ito yung mangyayari from start to finish. Nandun yung goal, nandun yung magiging outcome. And not only at the national level, but for all sectors, for all local government units. Dapat kabit-kabit yan. In our administration, we know that there's a Philippine Development Plan. It's a plan na kung saan nauugnay ang bawat plano ng lahat ng sektor, pati na rin ng lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno at ganoon din ng mga local government unit. Parang ito yung pinaka-Biblia nila. No? So ito yung pinakamayamang basihan, no, ng kanilang mga polisiya. Ito yung laging nababago o na-update sa pagpasok ng bagong administrasyon. Now, let's go to policy analysis. Ba't kailangan merong analysis on policies? No? It is the process of identifying potential policy options. We have these options, we have these things na we can suggest to do, to happen. No? But of course, these policy options has to be checked, describe, evaluate, no? Para ano na yun talaga magiging mabubuong polisiya, no? Para ma-address ang mga particular na mga concerns. Okay. So these options can be compared to choose the most effective, efficient, and feasible one. Conducting policy analysis ensures we have gone through systematic process to choose the policy options that may be best for your situation. Systematic process, again, nandun na rin ang statistics. In doing policy analysis, we compare, we describe first, then we compare, then we rank. This is the process, no? And sa bawat level na ito, again, there's statistics. Sa research and identify, we need to see data. We need to see options. No? We need the literature, environmental scan, anong nangyayari. No? Of course, serving the best practices. We benchmark. Ano ang mga kagandahan o mga naganap sa iba-ibang lugar na pwede natin adapt, no? Na magandang nagawa nila, no? Na para mapagbasihan ng tamang mga polisiya. We describe possible policy options. We pay attention sa mga health impact, for example, the cost implication or cost of implementation, and the feasibility. Will it work? So we describe. And even so, there's statistics there. And finally, we rank. No? Of course, we cannot rank them if the policy options are not measurable. So there has to be an operationalized policy options. No? Kailangan measurable siya. So we rank possible policy options and pick the one that is best. No? This is done in a team. Kailangan there's a team. Hindi lang isa nagdidesisyon. Ano? Kailangan pinag-uusapan to. And further to this, sa mga policy analysis, there has to be this users forum. No? They present options. They provide, they seek or solicit comments. No? And to check, okay, itong mga possible options, tumutugba ba, nakaka-reach out ba? Itong mga concerns na naging dahilan ng policy formulation, masosolve ba? No? Ma-address ba sila completely? Sabi nga, in an effective, efficient, and feasible one. Pwede kaya? Pwedeng gawin. Now, I'd like to share this, medyo pero these are the policy analytical procedures, no? Which I wish to tackle. Kasi this is similar to what I've been discussing with my students, no? And first is this problem structuring. This is the part where we describe ano yung outcome, ano yung hindi na hihit na mga outcomes, mga goals, na dahil doon may problem. ano yung nagiging effect ng mga problems na to. Then we make forecasts, we measure them, and we make forecasts. If we continue without policy, without intervention, what will happen? But if there's intervention, what will happen? And then we make recommendations after ranking these policy options. And ito yung minsan kulang, the monitoring and evaluation. May policy, sige. May mga actions to be taken, may mga plano na ini-implement, pero namomonitor ba? Na nagwo-work ba? Merong na-evaluate ba? No? Kaantabay nito ay yung tinatawag na mga phases of policy making. Na as we go through the policy analytical procedures like this, tumutugma ito sa phases ng policy making, which is of course the agenda setting. Pareho na may forecasting din sila. Then there's this policy adoption as we recommend some policy options, the best na policy option. Then we do implementation and of course assessment. Sa bawat polisiya, kung nasaan man kayo, kung kayo man ay mga guro, no? Of course, meron din kayo mga ginagawang mga policies, no? Kung kayo mga estudyante, no? Sa inyong special na pamamaraan, meron kayong ginagawang mga policies. Kung kayo yung mga taga-PUP, hello there, mga taga-stats click, you have some policy as well, no? Pero dun sa bandang dulo, meron bang monitoring, meron bang evaluation in order to see kung ang inyong mga policy ay nagiging nakaka-reach out, na nagagawa niya yung mga kailangan, no? Yung mga problema na susolve ba unti-unti. Baka kailangan bumalik sa simula, no? From papunta uli sa problem structuring kung hindi nasusolve. Baka meron lang nag-propose ng mga programa, ng mga activities, pero hindi naman talaga makakahit, naubos lang yung budget nyo, no? So dapat balikan, tingnan, at specifically mahit nyo yung mga targets natin. Now, in light with this, there's this approach in business. Now, I know my students already know this. This is what we call the Six Sigma. Six Sigma. So in statistics, we have this the normal curve. Yeah, parang tayo mga sexy normal curve palagi. We have this Six Sigma such that sa level ng sigma, we have the 1 sigma, the plus minus 1 sigma, 2 sigma, up to the 6 sigma, that is the 3 sigma left and right. Now, we have this target of minimizing, no? Minimizing variability, reducing errors and defects, no? Such that say a program or product with a lots of parts, no? Say in parts per million, there's about percent of perfection, about 99.99998%, no, na no more defects, errors reduced. And kung meron mang defect, it's about 0.002. Now we can allow, because of course there's heterogeneity, of course there's variability in those situations, we can allow about 1.5 sigma, no, or deviation from what we are targeting. And if that happens, the 6 sigma would entail about 3.4 lang na parts per million defective, no. Pero ito, ultimate na to, no, ultimate na goal na natin to sa lahat ng ginagawa natin, mga actions, policies, and even processes, no, in businesses, no, in order to hit our targets. This is the framework of Six Sigma. Sabi nga, thanks to Six Sigma. By the way, the Six Sigma is being used already in ISO in checking all the processes na okay ba siya, papunta ba sa almost perfection. Kaya nga dito yung the leveling, no, from the white belt up to the black belt para sa martial arts, yun yung leveling ng Six Sigma. So sa Six Sigma, we reduce time, yung mga delay, no. Minsan nalulungkot tayo, hindi lang nalulungkot, minsan nagagalit kapag mayroong mga programs, projects na intended for us pero may delay, no. So sa Six Sigma, we wish to eradicate delay, no, that everything will be on time, that defects will be minimized down to zero, and there's no variability. No? Of course, hindi natin mapagkakaila na ang sitwasyon natin na iba-iba. No? And ang variability is actually normal, but we wish to minimize them. And that can be done through the Six Sigma. Having this almost perfection na 99.996% no, of a time na lahat ng concerns ay madidirect hit with allowing only about 3.4 errors parts per million. Ano ang effect nito? No? Sa businesses and even the government, hindi lang basta to that end, okay, nagawa yung policy, okay, marami tayong natulungan. The outcome really for the Six Sigma is to increase sa government, of course, ang mamamayang Pilipino, their loyalty, na pag sila ay na lahat ng concerns nila ay nagkaroon ng katuparan, no? They will increase loyalty na sila mismo tutulong din, no, para sa kapakanan ng ating bansa. And of course, there's improved employees' morale. Silang mga nasa back-end, silang backbone, nagtatrabaho, gumagawa para sa gobyerno, tayo mga teachers, hello. No? There's increased employees' morale if we use or have this approach of Six Sigma. Parang suntok ba to sa buwan? Maybe it's suntok sa buwan, but there's process. May paraan, no? May paraan para mahit ito. Okay, one approach for Six Sigma is this tinatawag na DMAIC. The define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So define, so mapapansin nyo, nung kanina diniscuss ko yung sa policy analytical procedure, halos sila pareho. No? We define, we see if there's a problem, some opportunities na hindi nagagawa o hindi na ibibigay. No? If there are certain aspect na hindi satisfied ang ating client, ang customers, sa ating mga teachers, ang ating mga estudyante. No? Sa gobyerno ang mamamayan. Marami pa rin bang mahirap. So dito, sa define pa lang, meron tayong statistics dyan. We need data. Hindi data na hearsay, no? Hindi data or statistics na damn lie, sabi nga ni Sir. Yung totoong statistics. No? Of course, the Philippine Statistics Authority ay may siyang official source ng mga datos at doon tayo pwedeng magbase. Okay. So dito, after the define, we seek to measure. Sa level na to, sine-check natin, ano ba yung root cause? No? Kasi sa define, nakita natin problem. Eh. Ano yung root cause? Will there be some variables to be identified? Say the dependent and independent variables. The dependent can be the levels ng problem, and your independent, they can be causes. So sa measure, titingnan natin to. No? And then we analyze. We use some statistical tools to analyze to see if they're really related to mga variables na to. And then we somehow investigate, no? Bakit merong problema, say, sa processes. And then after that, we propose improvement. We see options na anong pwedeng gawin. Again, katulad na sa policy analysis, no? So may mga options, nakita natin to, we rank them, and then we propose them. We adopt them. Sa control, we monitor. No? We monitor kung itong mga pinapose natin ng mga solutions or mga actions taken, course of action ay nagagawa. No, we monitor them. We are critical in guarding, no, if these programs, projects are really being implemented. At kung na-address talaga ang may pangangailangan para dito. Kasama sa control side ay yung empowering the people behind. No? Silang nag-i-implement. Baka naman kulang sila sa training. Baka naman kulang sila na sa kanila edukasyon. Sila yung binibigyan ng maraming trabaho pero baka kulang. No, kailangan sila i-empower. Kasama yon sa control. No, para magpatuloy ang improvement. Magpatuloy na ma-hit yung target, no, sa proseso na to, and of course sa policy na pinaformulate. Pag hindi sa base sa magiging monitoring and evaluation, no, we can go back to sa define, measure, analyze, improve, and can be a cycle hanggang finally we can hit the Six Sigma. There's another approach, pero this DMAIC is more famous kasi ginagamit ito sa mga processes na existing na. Existing. Yun ang marami. The second one is the DMA-DB. The DMA-DB ay ginagamit pag merong new, no, merong bago na mga strategies or initiatives, some policies, no, na kailangang i-implement to address some concern. So ito yung para sa bago. May skip ako na slide. Ito is still in DMAIC. Makikita dito yung mga statistical tools na ginagamit. Of course, design, bukod sa project charter, process maps, and flow chart, nandito syempre yung mga descriptive measures, analysis, no? Pinapakita mo kasi pinapakilala mo. At the same time, tinitingnan mo, saan ka nagkamali? Ito yung proseso. Ano yung merong kulang? Then measure. Of course, nandyan pa rin yung mga process maps. Tinitingnan na kasi. We see cause and effect analysis. Of course, ito na nga yung we check on the dependent variables, no? And other things, the gauge repeatability and the reproducibility, no? Ito yung mga tools for quality control, no? Nasa papasok ito sa measure. Sa analyze, of course, the hypothesis testings, no? Confidence interval. We use here regression analysis, some multivariate methods, and some, of course, if we use design experiments base sa mga pangailangan. Ito rin na makikita sa improve and then control. So there are specific. We'll share some towards the end. Now, why do we need the formulation of indicators? There are a lot of indicators being used in the government as well as sa ating processes, no? Ito yung mga binabantayan, ito yung mga chine-check, no? Dapat measurable sila. Pero teka, ano ba yung indicators? Ito yung mga statistics, no? To measure current condition as well as to forecast financial or some economic trends or other aspect, no? It can be derived statistics or data, no, to describe your situation, the person, events, no, and the changes in them. Parang katulad ng kamay. Actually, dapat nagpo-point kasi indicator is pointing on something na parang ini-indicate mo it's something that is true. No? Alright, some characteristics of indicators. Of course, dapat ito merong pinagbasehan, merong data. No? By selecting, rearranging, manipulating them to describe, report the status of, or keep track of progress of certain activities or events that one is interested. No, show the significant aspect of a given situation. So with this indicator, nadi-describe, no, ang anumang sitwasyon. No, that can be basis for your policies. And it can also be basis for monitoring policies as well. Can be used to assess or evaluate what is happening as basis for making decisions. Show the differences between and among subgroups on how differences change over time. So ito yung pinagbabasihan for policy direction. So these are some examples of indicators which, indicator pala yun. Yun pala yung ginagamit natin. So our social indicators, no, that is indicator of welfare of groups of people, maring ginagamit yung proportion of Filipinos 16 years and below. No? Bakit? 16 years, sila yung mga dependent. No? Pati na rin yung mga ages 60 and above, no? Sila yung mga dependent. Ilan sila? No? Kung sila yung marami, then merong dapat gawin for na policies to help them to, and even to increase sila mga independent o yung mga inaasahan. Another social indicator is literacy rate. No? At certain locality, what's the literacy rate? If it's low, then maybe some policy direction is to come up with invest in that locality, provide education institution, add more teachers there, no? Kung merong mababang literacy rate. Economic indicator. So indicator efficiency of the use of resources in producing goods and services. Okay. Two example of this economic indicator, I think tinatawag na gross domestic product. No? Na pag binanggit ito ng PSA, ito yung kumakatawan, no, sa pag-unlad ng ating bansa, umaring pagbagsak nito kung ito may nag-negative. Consumer Price Index, no? Ito yung pangkalahatan na presyo ng mga bilihin na siyang pinagbabasihan ng inflation rate para nabanggit ko ito kanina, no? Na kung may pagtaas sa presyo of a certain market basket, then there's an increase in prices, thereby having inflation. Health indicator, the general health and sanitation condition of a community, na kapag maraming namamatay na bata, mga sanggol, infant mortality rate, is an indicator na ang lugar na yan ay mayroong mahina o poor health and sanitation. Dengue cases, but ang daming dengue dun. So, posible na mayroong, of course, bukod sa matubig, at tag-ulan ngayon, kasi hindi naman bago sa atin na may umuulan tuwing October o mula August, September, October hanggang November na ngayon. Hindi na bago yun. So dapat lagi na tayong may action doon. And kung napag-iiwanan tayo, ay baka meron dapat na policy direction for that matter. Environmental indicators. Ito yung gusto ng mga estudyante ko sa BSES. Yan. Describe the state of environment and its impact on human beings, no? Ecosystems, yung relasyon ng mga tao sa environment niya. No? So, ano yung mga environmental indicators? Biological diversity, food production, no? Average global surface temperature, yung atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration, marami pa ba? Nakakatuwa nung during the pandemic, yung kasagsagan, no? Ang linaw ng langit, no, wala kasing masyadong mga lumalabas, no, yung mga sasakyan, no, konti lang yung emission, ano. So, pero ngayon, dumadami na ulit sasakyan, sobrang traffic sa EDSA, no? So, ayun naman, tumataas ng pollution level. Of course, human population. Hindi naman magpigilan, pero of course, dahil sa lower fertility rate ngayon, bumababa na yung population explosion. Ano. Kaya lang sa pagdami nito, no, hindi pwedeng hindi matatamaan ang ating environment and natural resources. The resource depletion, ilan na lang kabundukan natin, no? Na ito, papasok na naman si Bagyong Paeng sa Central Luzon pa, no? Kaya pa ba? Is there land capacity pa ba, no? Nitong Sierra Madre, no? So we hope na maraming advocacy na magagawa, no, para sa ating natural resources. Sa opisina, there's this key performance indicator to measure success. Of course, this net profit, the sales, the customer retention rate. So these examples of indicators, these are statistics, right? Meron tayong mga datos, meron tayong ginagawang mga computation, manipulation, of course, to come up with these indicators. At ito'y kailangan, no, sa ating paggawa ng mga polisiya at sa pag-analyze ng policy nito. Kung ito ba ay may katagumpayan, ang mga policy na to, parang nandyan lang yan. Hindi hindi nasusunod. Okay, use of statistics. So in general, ito yung kanina ko pang paulit na binabanggit. We describe situation. There's statistics there. And after describing, we need to formulate policies. We need to assess these policies, analyze them. No, of course, kailangan din doon ng statistics. We need to develop indicators as basis for policy analysis, for policy formulation, and even for monitoring and evaluation. We need statistics. There's as represented with this indicator. All right, some example of statistics which can be in graph. Isa dito yung nabanggit ko kanina, no? Yung ilan na bang ang COVID cases by municipality, city sa Bulacan. Yung isang graph doon na iba-iba kulay, no? Although ito yung pagkakataon ko sana na mabanggit for a professional looking graph, kapag categorical, ang inyong data, it should be horizontal bar chart. Yung pangalawang is a histogram, no? Nagpapakita yung variation ng data at some interval, no? Maybe these are frequencies of responses, no, sa mga policies. Ang another scatter plot, no, na mapapakita kung gaano ka-varied ang responses nila. Say for example, ito ay in terms of the health index and income, no? So nagji-jive pa. There's also this infographics on environment, no? Pinapakita some indicators or conditions, no, ng isang locality. Okay, the Pareto chart, ginagamit ito, no, sa total quality management, no, kung saan pinapakita yung mga problems and we come up with some cumulatives. Yan. Itong box plot naman sa gawing baba, ginagamit ito, no, sa in comparing, no, some processes, no, na maaring isinagawa ng mga businesses, no, at kung paano merong variation, nagkakalayo ang mga responses nila. We want sana, na of course, sa Six Sigma, na lesser ang variation. So the more compact, the less the variation. This is a thematic map. This is region 3, no, on the confirmed cases ng COVID kasagsagan ng 2021 March, na kung saan yung lower part sa San Jose del Monte, no. Again, this is a visuals, a statistics, no, na very useful, no. Okay, we can concentrate on some programs dyan sa San Jose del Monte. Maybe we can, nung panahon na yun, ano, di ba sila yung part ng na nag-close, ano. Then also with this map, makikita yung kung ano yung pwedeng gawin sa mga boundaries. Since ito yung mga confirmed cases. So with that, no, even with maps, as a visuals of statistics, pwede makakagawa ng mga policy formulation. Some summary measures, kanina mga maps, mga visuals, ito mga numbers, tables, no? We can make use, no, for decision making. We know yung mga central tendency, the mean, the median, the mode, no? Of course, some variation measures, the skewness, the kurtosis, no? These are summary measures. Sa statistics, ito yung descriptive part, no? And even these are just descriptive, hindi pa siya yung inferential part. Malaking bagay na naitutulong na to. So for example, nung bago pa lang tayo, no, tuwing alas 4 ng hapon, no, araw-araw, may nire-report si Yusek Berheri ng kalagayan o dami na ng COVID cases, di ba? Noon, kinakabahan ko yan, tataranta ako. Ito na, alas 4 na naman, narinig ko na naman, no? So, but these are descriptive, no? At ngayon, nasasanay na tayo, ay, hinahanap-hanap pa nga. Meron time na once a month o once a week na lang nagre-report, nahahanap-hanap pa natin. So, ito ay as of March 6, no? So, early this year, no? This is an example of descriptive or summary measures ng sa COVID. We need to, sabi nga natin, using statistics in this new normal, no? Focusing really, of course, sa pandemic, mas dapat hit sa target, no? Specific, no? Para talagang sabay-sabay tayong aahon. Alright, another, this is the indicator level, no? Of indicators specified for on COVID cases, no? We say na pasok sa low o sa medium sa high ang inyong locality in terms of admission, no? Sa per 100,000 population, no? Or there's a percentage of staff inpatient beds, no? So ito yung mga health indicators, no, na binabantayan at sine-check, okay, locality 1 nasaan na, low, medium, high, no? So simple statistics lang to, wala pa talaga yung inferential need, pero very useful. Yun nga lang, maganda yung nangyari, isang maganda nangyari sa pandemic is that naging mas na-appreciate ang statistics, mas hinahanap ang statistics, tinitingnan ano ng kalagayan natin. Kung wala, hindi kaya ng datos, may nagsasurvey, mayroong gumagawa ng research. So, mas nafe-feed tayo well of statistics at mas nag-inform ngayon ang mga tao ng statistics. Yun nga lang, dito rin nagpo-proliferate yung mga fake news. Ano? Kaya nga dapat maging matalino tayo na sa pag-check ng mga datos na lumalabas. Huwag papansinin yung kung sino-sino lang yung nagpo-post. No? Tingnan nyo yung mga government agencies na sila talaga yung dapat na nag-a-announce, dapat na nagpo-provide ng data. So, say for example, on health, syempre, Department of Health, no? Kung sinabing hindi na kailangan mag-mask, Department of Health ang ating papakinggan. Right. In terms of person change, ito, I make use of researches ng estudyante ko, no? Sa private sector, sa CMI, no, nung we had this study, person change lang, no? So again, that's it's a summary measure lang, the descriptive, no? Pinapakita lang dito na nung nag-pandemic, yung pagtatrabaho ng kanilang nanay, no? Ano nangyari? So in terms of no job, mayroong pagtaas o pagdami ng mga nanay nila na hindi nakakapagtrabaho. In terms of yung kalidad ng trabaho as permanent, nabawasan by 24%. Yung temporary, tumaas, no? Kasi nga yung sa permanent, so nabawasan, so nagkaroon sila ng temporary work. At least merong temporary work. So dito pa lang sa percentage, makikita mo, meron pa na nangyaring ganun, no? Sa kasagsagan ng pandemic. So this by using percentage, measuring the number of the type of work, their counts before pandemic, and then during or at the onslaught of pandemic. Another, as a policy is one form of policy standard, no? So in coming up with standards, like yung mga natatanggap natin, tayong mga medyo lagi na lang nasa klinik, nagpapalaboratory, may tinatawag na reference. This is a form of standard, a form of policy, no? Standards. So dito, pinagbabatayan. Nasaan na ako? Normal pa ba? Yun. So making use of the lower and the upper limits as standard. So this is statistics. So makikita mo, okay, normal ang aking white blood cell, ang red blood cell ko. Pumasa na yung aking hemoglobin, hematocrit. Actually, sa mother-in-law ko to, pasado na siya after 2 years ng pagagamot. So, happy kami doon. And then, of course, sa side naman ng inferential, we use correlation as a form of statistical tools, no, to measure association. So dito, pinapakita during pandemic, no, yung mga estudyante ko, yan, hindi naman sila lahat, nag-service sila among senior high school students, at lumalabas na may mga correlation na positive and negative, na the more silang gumagamit ng digital media, humahaba yung oras ng pagtulog talaga. Okay yun, kung pampatulog pala yung digital media, no? Mga social media, internet. Pero tingnan natin yung reading online. No? The more sila mas nagbabasa, nagbibigay ng oras sa pagbabasa online, nababawasan yung oras ng pagtulog. So this is the statistics na pwedeng magamit, no, ng sa school, no? Ganun pala, no? Mas nakaka-apekto. Of course, ang mga bata kailangan din na sapat ang pagtulog nila para pagising, ready sila, no? Sa mga challenges, sa pagpasok sa school, ready matuto. And ito sa baba, medyo alarming na the more they take time playing online games, the lesser yung oras ng pagtulog. Parang mas dun ata sila, no? Nagko-concentrate kasi tapos na yung assignment ko, tulog na si mommy, si daddy, na niya makikita na nagiging ako. So there's a negative. Ibig sabihin ng negative correlation that the more they allot time, no, more time playing online games, the lesser, no, yung hours of sleep sa weekdays. Weekdays, so may klase. No? Yun yung isang picture ng mga estudyante nung panahon, kasagsagan noon. So hindi ngayon ganito, no? Kasi may face-to-face na, no? And then, using forecasting. No? So this, I got sa isang website, CDC, sa US, na we forecast, no, yung COVID cases. Okay. There's this we call seasonality or periodicity na ibig sabihin nare-repeat, no, over time, no? Na mayroong pagbaba, pagtaas, pagbaba, pagtaas, no? And then they had forecast. So out sample prediction, they can predict, no? So ito yung sinasabing forecasting. No? If you have certain policies, ano yung responses nila, you can forecast that out. Of course, maraming paraan ng pag-forecast. Ang ginamit dito yung modern, no? We have the non-structural and modern procedure. That is the RIMA, the SBM. No? Yun yung ginamit nila. Of course, another example is cluster analysis. No? Saan ginugrupo? Ito, ginugrupo yung mga countries. No? In terms of their Human Development Index, yung kalidad, no, ng kanilang ng buhay nila, no, ngayong panahon ng pandemic, sino yung magkakapareho, no? Sino yung alin yung nagkakaiba, no? So ito yung ginrupo sila, no? So two for grouping, observations, countries, students, use cluster analysis. At sa ganitong paraan, pwede tayong makapag-propose ng mga tamang polisiya. So another, yung ginawa ng estudyante ko, comparing the modular, no? Sila mga grade 11, siyempre galing sila sa grade 10 public school, gumamit ng modular. No? Tapos sa online, ngayon nung grade 11 na sila. At ano yung pinakita? Ano yung nakuha nila sa survey? No? Comparing their level of learning, no? Sa modular at sa online, lumalabas na using this t-test paired two sample for means is a statistical tool. That is, of course, the hypothesis testing. Ang conclusion nila, based on the data, making use of the t-test is that, of course, the p-value of this much, which is less than the level of significance of 0.05, they can say that they have the sufficient evidence to say na yung kanilang null hypothesis ay rejected. Yung null hypothesis nila sinasabi, pareho lang, modular and online. So after rejecting the null hypothesis, they proceed with accommodating their alternative hypothesis to say that more effective for learning ang online kesa sa modular. So dito napatunayan, talagang mas kailangan yung, of course, comparing the two, online versus the modular. Yung pangatlo, the face-to-face. There's another study on that. Maybe later we can share that with you. In terms of the level ng learning ng mga estudyante. So significant, na that the level of learning is really higher sa online kaysa sa modular. This is statistics. So again, merong policies na pwedeng i-adapt sa ganitong datos. How about proportion, hypothesis testing of proportion? Ito very useful if you want to say certain percentage ng estudyante ko ay, certain percentage ng mga teachers ay. So you're stating some hypothesis. So subjecting that to hypothesis testing, like for this case, that certain grade 12 students, take an example, random sampling, are aware of health protocols. Kasi ito, ginawa namin yung study bago magkaroon ng face-to-face. At lumalabas na at p-value na less than the level of significance, yung sinasabing 50% or pag sinabing 50-50, not that sure, can 50% chance of success, 50% chance of failure, diba? So naninimbang, that is rejected. So ano lumalabas? Not only 50, but majority. Majority of these students have high level of awareness in health protocol for the last 6 months. Ginawa yung survey last year. So ngayong pagpasok ng first semester, ayan, face-to-face na sa Pandi, sa CMI, saan ginanap ito. At ready na sila. So with that study, nakatulong yun sa policy na ginawa ng eskwelahan para ituloy na nga ang face-to-face. So malaking bagay na malaman, di lang basta nang hula ka na, alam naman ng estudyante health protocol na yan, sinusunod naman yan. So maganda na merong survey ka, may datos ka, may indicator ka. Conclusion. Statistics, nandiyan na yan. Hindi lang nalaman, statistics pala yun. But a few of us really are using it to the ultimate. Maraming pwedeng paggamitan ng statistics. Kailangan lang talagang tama ang paggamit. And that more use of statistics will help us make appropriate policies and decisions for faster and steady recovery from pandemic. If we want to recover from pandemic, steady use of statistics. Steady recovery, steady use of statistics. Laging magbantay, laging mag-produce ng datos. Magbase sa tamang mga datos, hindi sa fake news. At naalala ko nga nung nagtatrabaho ako nun, may bagong secretary na sinasabi, ayoko ng statistics ng PSA. Meron akong alam. Nagbase sa hearsay. Sabi kasi ng ganito, ganyan. Pero of course, against statistics ng PSA. So siguro by this time, mas maalam na mga policy makers natin. At talagang gagamit na sila ng mga tamang datos. So with that, these are my references. Salamat sa inyong pakikinig. I hope meron kayo natutunan. Maraming salamat. You can email me with this email address. Again, thank you very much.
Maraming salamat din po, Ma'am Magtulis, for sharing once again your expertise with us. Sobrang nakaka-overwhelm man po pakinggan yung term na statistics and how it is being applied, 'di ba, to several agencies, organizations, 'di ba? We truly cannot deny how it is really relevant in today's uh, ever-changing world. Kasi kailangan nating mag-cope up and mag-adapt, 'di ba? So we need statistics to do that. And now, at this part of the program, we are opening the platform to accommodate your questions, clarifications, or any inquiry. You may send your questions through the chat box in today's meeting session or meeting link rather, or you may also raise your questions via the live stream's comment section. So of course, let us be reminded, ayan, that there's always something to know about, 'di ba? So habang nandito yung ating very capable resource speaker, let us opt to take advantage, okay, of the opportunity na kaya niyang ma-entertain yung ating mga inquiries. And of course, to our students, from the BS Mathematics program, if you are now dealing with several instances wherein nag-iisip kayo kung ano yung inyong itatackle na research project or research paper, 'di ba? You may ask for several advice, 'di ba, from our statistician, okay, regarding the things that you would want to know. Ayan, meron po ba tayong mga questions? Okay, so while you are thinking of your questions, perhaps we could remind everybody that there will be an evaluation per session. So at this juncture, I was informed that the evaluation link has already been posted in our chat box over here. So we will be doing this twice since we will be having two webinar sessions for this morning. So it is posted by our fellow faculty member, Sir Adolf Victorino. All right. So as for me, my main takeaways are, of course, the things that are new to me, 'di ba? So these are the insights as well as the key ideas in public policy making. So of course, we are guided by the Philippine Development Plan, and of course, policy analysis is quite essential, 'di ba? Of for us to work through the plan and attain the goals. So there is a need to research and identify, to describe, and of course to rank the data that we have gathered. And I have also appreciated the short background regarding the Lean Six Sigma. So of course, we need to consider time, defects, and variability for the purpose of increasing customer loyalty and improving employees' morale. And of course, to the examples, on how research affects policies on a large scale, 'di ba? So I appreciate also the emphasis of true and authentic and reliable, ayan, na data consumption, 'di ba? So as digital citizens and of course as a Filipino, as one of the members of the Filipino community, we should always keep in mind, 'di ba, that the information that we consume are relevant and has a big impact, in policy making. So we really, really need to be more informed, okay, about the facts. everybody. So, my apologies for the short technical difficulty. So, it's really evident ayan, that we also need to um, improve pa, di ba? Our infrastructure, with regards to internet connectivity. But then again, we were at the open forum portion of our today's first session of our webinar. So I'm just gonna be checking out if there are any inquiry dito sa ating chat box. All right. So let me just implore the aid of our technical team, to see if there are questions. Okay, so I have just rejoined the meet. So I'm currently waiting for several updates, if there are any participants who were able to raise their concerns. Okay, so paki-follow up na lang po sa chat.
So, meron dito na direct message. Basahin ko, ma'am. Sabi niya, ask ko lang po if may data kayo about percentage of employment rate of statisticians. No? Alam niyo, very small ang population ng mga statisticians or those graduates of statistics na we have that mini-maintained in way back when I was in PSRTI. Of course, it's always 100% employment rate. No? Lahat talaga nagkakaroon ng trabaho. But the question really is the underemployment. Na iba kasi they chose, no? Even they have this the learning on statistics, they have these experiences, and yet they chose, say, higher salary. May mga call center. So hindi related, ano. Tapos yung iba, they opt for maging programmer o ng ibang bansa. Yun. So yung ganun lang. No? Pero of course, mataas ang pangangailangan ng mga statistician, not only in the government but as well as in the private sector. Before na alam ko, lahat ng bangko, as per directive of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, ay dapat magkaroon ng risk analysis group or risk assessment group. Statistician ang mga kagawa. So lahat ng bangko may risk assessment. So ilang bangko meron, ilan lang ang nag-graduate na statistician. So talagang kulang pa nga, no? Ang mga nag-graduate. May mga kaibigan ako na nasa PSA na hindi pa nga kayo mag-graduate. Sinasabihan ako na, ma'am, pag-applyin mo sa amin, dito sila pumunta. Yan. So, mataas talaga yung pangailangan ng statistician, not only in the government, but even sa private. Of course, sa academe din, kailangan natin ng statistician.
Ayan. So, yung mga statisticians talaga are some sort of a rare species, ika nga. Kasi they are essential, diba, in every organization. But then, there are only a few of them. Kaya, of course, to our would-be graduates, ayan, ng BS Math, with the specialization in applied statistics, maraming opportunities for you, as well as the other majors such as business applications and computer science, diba? But we really cannot deny, diba, na mas maraming nilolook forward, diba, yung ating government from statisticians. So I'm currently sifting questions if meron pa po na nai-forward dito sa ating chat box. Ayan. And of course, thank you, Ma'am Ann, for addressing our audience's concern. All right, so I was informed just a while ago na wala nang following questions. The ones that I'm seeing kanina are all messages of gratitude and thanks. Okay. So I think we can already conclude our first session. So now, to show our sincerest appreciation to our resource speaker, may we present the certificate of recognition. Okay, so CS Tech. Ayan, so I would just read the citation. And of course, after this, we would like to request for a short photo opportunity, of course, with our resource speaker. So, Bulacan State University College of Science Mathematics Department awards the Certificate of Recognition to Miss Mary Ancy Magtulis in grateful recognition and commendation of her invaluable efforts and exemplary performance as the resource speaker in the seminar entitled Policy Analysis Through Statistics Lenses in the New Normal during the celebration of the 33rd National Statistics Month with the theme Boosting the Country's Recovery with Informed Decisions, Better Policies, held on October 28, 2022, via the official YouTube channel of the Bulacan State University College of Science. Given this 28th day of October 2022, signed by Dr. Edgardo M. Santos, the Dean of the College of Science. Once again, thank you so much, Ma'am Magtulis, for your very informative and significant sharing. All right. So we will be requesting everybody to turn on their cameras for a short photo opportunity with our first resource speaker. All right. So I have seen several students who have turned on their cameras already. And of course, some fellow faculty members. Thank you so much po. And once again, let us just wait for the prompt of our CS Tech. Ayan, para malaman natin if kailan magka-capture. Ayan ang photo.
Yan. Ma'am, we're
Ayan,
just
all right.
waiting for others to open their cameras po.
Ayan. So I have seen several panels. Ayan. Medyo marami tayo today. Ayan. So, ayan. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so panel number 1 po. Yan, yung mga naka-open camera na lang po para medyo makabawas po tayo. Okay, smile po. 1, 2, 3. And panel number 2, if there's any. And smile po. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you po.
All right. So thank you for those who obliged to turn on their cameras. So now we are on the second part ayan, of our webinar session. Okay. So thank you, CS Tech, for assisting. All right. So now let us get to know our second resource speaker. All right. Mr. Balilla is an accomplished statistician and an educator. He attained his bachelor's degree from our dear university, Bulacan State University, where he took up Bachelor of Science in Mathematics with specialization in applied statistics. He earned his master's degree from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, as a full scholar, where he took up Master of Statistics. He has been serving as a fellow instructor, teaching mathematics and statistics subjects under the College of Science Mathematics Department since 2015. He is also the team lead and head of Institutional Assessment, Effectiveness, and Research Advancement Unit under the Planning and Development Office of Bulacan State University from 2020 up to the present. He served as a student internship program coordinator under the College of Science from 2017 up to August of this year. He is a freelance statistician from 2017 up to the present and a paper reviewer in an international journal from 2020 up to the present. He has been the owner of and operations manager of Balilla Agri Enterprises from 2017 up to 2019. In his course of his career, he became a full scholar when he was studying data science and artificial intelligence under the supervision of Dr. Michael Fabringer in Acalonia, Tokyo Data Science. He also holds a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt in a certification program administered by the Asian Institute of Management. He is also a Huawei certified ICT associate and a full scholar of Sparta in data science, sponsored by the Department of Science and Technology. He has been able to author and co-author several researches as of today and has been able to take part in relevant trainings and online courses, as well as lectures and talks. He was also part of several completed and ongoing projects within the university. He had also served as a resource speaker in an international conference presentation wherein he discussed about characterizing the impact of COVID-19 on global stock indices through comparative analysis. And to add to that, he is an analytical statistician committed to assessing validity, reliability, and accuracy of collected data. He is proficient with R and Python and skilled in developing reports from complex information. He is meticulous. He is a meticulous data scientist accomplished in compiling, transforming, and analyzing complex information through software, and an expert in machine learning and large data set management. He also demonstrated success in identifying relationships and building solutions to business problems. And now he is with us to discuss about understanding nursing workforces turnover intention through statistics and evidence from Saudi Arabia. Let us welcome him with a virtual applause. Without further ado, I give you Mr. Jeffhraim Balilla.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Judy. That was a wonderful introduction. So, okay, good morning, everyone. So before I start, I want to express my delight because we have a large number of participants. Currently, we have 465 participants. So let me check on the schools. So earlier I saw, additional 74 from YouTube. So earlier I saw students from PUP. So welcome to the meeting. So I was a student in the Master in Applied Statistics program, and some of your professors are my former classmates in the UP School of Statistics. And I also see students from, I think, I'm not sure, BS Stat from, I'm not sure if CLSU or UP. So welcome to the meeting. And of course, my students from the BS Math program, Computer Science, Business Application, and Applied Statistics. Thanks for joining. And also some students from Environmental Science and Biology. So welcome to the meeting. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I hope you're seeing my screen now. Okay, so yeah, the title of my talk for today is Understanding Nursing Workforce Turnover Intention Through Statistics and Evidence from Saudi Arabia. So this talk is a product of one of our researchers in Saudi Arabia, together with researchers from UCLA, from different organizations in the region. We have co-researchers from different colleges in Saudi Arabia, and also doctors and nurses. So before I proceed to the study itself, let me first discuss the relevance of this to the Philippines. So I've looked on different reports about nursing workforce in the Philippines. So I've seen different media outlets that reported these things. And let me first read the report by New York Times way back 2004. So they said every year, as many as 8,000 nurses leave for the United States, continental Europe, Britain, and Saudi Arabia and other Middle East countries. And for the case of the Philippines, the United States and the Saudi Arabia are the most common destinations. So that was during 2004. And based on the report last 2019 by the Philippine Star, the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, or POEA, reported that every year an average of 19,000 nurses leave the country to work abroad. So as you can see, there is a significant increase in the number of nursing workforce that are leaving the country. So from just 8,000 during 2004, it's already gone up to 19,000 during 2019. Not yet considering the impact of the pandemic. So it's just 2019. So probably we have, I think, more nurses that decided to work abroad during the pandemic because of the lack of support from the government. As the former Secretary of the Department of Health admitted, Secretary Duque, he admitted that the Philippine hospitals cannot compete with the average salaries of 150,000 to 200,000 a month being offered to nurses abroad. Definitely, we cannot compete with that pay. So, in terms of remuneration, we cannot give the equal amount as what the developed countries are giving for our nurses. However, we also need to consider that not all of our nurses want to leave their families behind just for the higher pay. There are other considerations, such as being with the family. So we can take advantage of that. So probably they're considering the opportunity cost of leaving their families behind for this salary, and this problem is compounded by the contract of service scheme, or ENDO schemes, wherein nurses, especially in the private sector, in every N months, I think 6 months, they have to look for other hospital wherein they can serve because of this scheme. So these are the considerations that that will prove that our study done in Saudi Arabia is still or is relevant to the Philippine setup. Now, if you're looking for maybe motivation for your study, for maybe during your 4th year or 3rd year, you're looking for a study that is similar in terms of concept to what we did. I'll be sharing the instrument that we used, the methodology that we used in this study. So let's first talk the motivation. So the nursing career is one of the most in-demand healthcare professions worldwide, and is constantly evolving to fit the changing healthcare environment. with nursing roles becoming more complex and varied. And nursing has become one of the most demanded professions, especially during this pandemic. If you can recall the troubles that our nurses experienced. So it happened not only in the Philippines, but also abroad. So they have an important contribution to the kingdoms, referring to Saudi Arabia kingdom, health sector. Now, the demand for nurses in Saudi Arabia is projected to double by 2030 due to annual population growth rate of 2.52%. Thus, by 2030, about 150,000 nurses need to be hired. And currently, the nursing workforce in the kingdom is comprised of about 70% Indians, Filipinos, and 70% of the foreign nursing workforce is comprised mostly of Indians, Filipino, and Malaysian, as reported by the Ministry of Health in 2018. And retention and turnover affect healthcare in several ways, including cost effectiveness and the need to provide quality care. Now we proceed to the objective of this study. So this study aimed to explore the association of turnover attachment motive with socioeconomic data among Saudis and foreign nurses in a hospital in the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. And for the research design, this is a cross-sectional correlation study which involved 180 registered Saudi and foreign nurses working at Dr. Sulaiman Al Habib Hospital in Al Khobar, Saudi Arabia. For the research instrument, we utilized the Turnover Attachment Motive Survey, or TAMS, which was developed and validated by Merz and Boyar in 2012. It consisted of 80 items divided into 18 subscales that evaluate 8 motivational forces. So we'll be talking each of these motivational forces in the next sections. So let's first discuss the affective forces. So this refers to the general sense of organization and being a member in it. For example, comfort or discomfort in the organization, which may motivate to stay or leave. And the next one is contractual forces, which refers to the organization's remuneration obligations, where alleged breaches of the contract by the organization may motivate to leave the job. So this turnover attachment motive survey can be applied not only in the nursing industry, the healthcare industry, but also in other industries as well. So, for example, you are considering to apply this or to conduct a study about employee attrition or employee turnover intention in the university setup, you can definitely use this instrument. Now, for the calculative forces, it's where employees calculate their chances of achieving their career goals and values at the current organization. And for the alternative forces, so alternative employment opportunities that can psychologically push employees away from their current organizations, whether they are absolutely satisfied with that organization or not. Now, in terms of behavioral forces, this reflect the behavioral and ongoing obligations, the perceived material and psychological costs that may be incurred in the event of leaving a particular organization. So you can think of it as the opportunity cost of choosing or leaving their current job. So that would be the behavioral force. And for the normative forces, it's where employees often perceive expectations from family or friends, either to stay in or leave their current job. And for the moral forces, now, okay, let me add something in the normative forces. So the normative forces definitely differ in culture to culture, countries to countries. So the normative forces for the Saudi nursing workforce would be different as compared to the normative forces affecting the Philippine or Filipino nursing workforce. Now, for the moral forces, these are indicators of employee turnover that might indicate that leaving a job is indicative of weakness or fickleness of character, implying attachment, or changing jobs regularly is a virtue, implying a motivation to quit. Now, for the constituent forces associated with workplace commitment, components where an employee may feel attached to or want to separate from various components. So, for example, friends or colleagues. This also includes the the uh, the politics inside the organization. So that would fall under the constituent forces. So these are the 8 forces that um, that are included in the turnover attachment motive survey. And now we proceed to the data collection procedures. So the data was approved by the IRB, or Institutional Review Board, of Prince Sultan Military College of Health and Sciences last May 4, 2021. And you can see here the code, the approval code for the study. And all procedures are followed regarding the ethical standards, and also the 1964 Helsinki Declarations, and all later amendments, and comparable ethical standards. Now, informed consent, which is basically one of the primary consents in every survey. So informed consent was obtained from all individual participants in the study. Participants were also informed that they had the right to refuse to participate and could withdraw from the study without any negative consequences for themselves. So they are assured of anonymity, and they are sure that their answers would not affect their current job or position in the organization. There will be no negative consequences. Now for the materials and methods. So this cross-sectional correlation study involved 180 registered Saudi and foreign nurses working at the Dr. Sulaiman Al Habib Hospital, Al Kabar, in Saudi Arabia. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we were forced to distribute the questionnaires electronically among participants to the department heads. And the email included the aim of the research, the consent, and the link to the questionnaire. So they are fully informed on the background of the study that we are doing. And the electronic signature was considered the consent of the participants. And now we proceed to the results. So for the first part, I'll be sharing to you the visualizations that I created. So for this visualization, I utilized Orange software. So if you're familiar with it, it is an R-based data science software. So if you're familiar with Anaconda Navigator, so it's one of the default programs in it. So if you download Anaconda Navigator, then let me add it. Let me type it in the chat box. So if you're interested in utilizing that. So if you download this software, Anaconda Navigator, it is a free software. You can use R Studio, Python, Jupyter Notebook if you're into data science and machine learning, Orange, and some other things that are useful in manipulating and reporting your data. So we can see here for the effective forces, so I generated individual scatter plots for each of the motivational forces. So for the first, we have here the effective forces. I think this is, I'm not sure if this is small, but nevertheless, we can see here in the y-axis the effective forces. So the times is utilizing a Likert scale with intensity, so from 1 to 7. And for the x-axis, you can see the turnover intention. So for the turnover intention, so it should be interpreted in reverse. So the lower turnover intention score means higher turnover motive. Okay. Now we can see here, I've also included demographic information, specifically the age group each of the participants belong to. So we can see here, generally the structure is linear. So we observe lower turnover intention for higher courses in the affective forces. And we can see based on the shape. So I changed the shape and the color of those with high turnover intention, turnover motive, and their in the age bracket or age group they belong to. So we can see here generally that those who have higher levels of turnover motive are in the age group of 19, or rather 29 to 33, and 24 to 28. So this would be later compared to the result of the regression analysis. So we can see that the result of the graphs, the scatter plots, would agree with the result of the regression analysis. So that's one way of exploring your data. So we can see here for the next force, the constituent forces. So as compared to the effective forces, we can see more variability. So the scatter is much higher in the constituent forces, but generally the structure is still linear. Okay, and we have here an outlier, which is a person with low scores in terms of the constituent force. However, that person has low level of turnover intention. Now for the alternative force, I think out of the eight motivational forces, this one has the highest variability. Okay, highest variability. So we hypothesize that it is because of the generally young participants. So if while you're young, you have more opportunities outside, especially if you have higher educational attainment. So this is expected. So the variability in the alternative forces is actually expected. Then for the next force, the same structure, so linear in nature, or in structure rather. And we have here a group that has, again, we can say that this data points are outliers because they have low scores of behavioral forces, but very low turnover motive or turnover intention. And then this one is for the calculative forces. So this is, in terms of structure, more homogeneous as compared to the others, but still the structure is still linear. So we observe lower turnover intention as the calculative forces scores becomes higher. And for the normative forces, so same structure, linear, and out of the 8, we can see that the moral forces, the structure of the moral forces is different. Okay, so it's not linear. So the scatter is horizontal to the x-axis. So meaning, if you will compute for the correlation coefficient of this, it is approaching 0. So we can say that we do not have sufficient evidence in terms of the moral forces if we are hypothesizing that it is linearly associated with turnover intention because of what the graph tells us. So it's horizontal to the x-axis. Okay, so I hope I have discussed everything clearly and efficiently. And we proceed to the summary statistics. So what I did here is I created different classes, different levels. So I grouped the forces that belong to organization level, contextual level, and individual level. So we can see here the mean scores for each of the forces. So we can see that at the organization level, the affective forces is or has the highest mean, which is basically expected also. So the organization, if it is employer friendly, then effective forces will definitely have higher scores. Then for the contextual level, we have alternative forces and normative forces. And alternative forces has the lowest mean, 3.18. So again, for the turnover intention, the lower the score, the higher the intention to leave. And for the individual level, the more forces registered at a mean of 3.80. Now, we proceed to the regression results. So I hope you can still see this, even the the letters are small, but let me focus on the p-values. So for the nationality, so we only have Saudis and non-Saudis for the category. And now let me focus on the significant predictors. So here we can see that the age group 29 to 33, as what I said earlier, as we have seen in the graph, it's significant. So the beta coefficient is negative, meaning the observed intention or turnover intention at this group is significantly higher as compared to the reference group. So for the age group, the reference group is 19 to 23 years old. So if you will think about it, if you're starting your career as a nurse, probably your age is around 19 to 23, then if you're thinking of looking for other opportunities, you have to have experience. So basically, at the age group of 29 to 33, this nurses already have the necessary experience and qualification to look for greener pastures. So that is basically intuitive. Now, you proceed to the marital status, single. So the reference group for the marital status is divorce. So in terms, as compared to the divorce group, the marital status has significantly higher intention to leave with a p-value of 0.048. So it's a bit on the edge because the level of significance that we set in this analysis is 0.05. Now for the clinical experience, okay, so for the marital status, it's significant with a p-value of 0.003 as compared to the reference group. Again, it's just the divorced. Now for the clinical experience, the reference group for this factor variable or predictor is clinical experience of 1 to 2 years. So as we can see here, the clinical experience of 5 to 6 years is significant. Again, going back to the discussion about experience. So this is quite related to their age and to their age. So if your clinical experience is around this much, 5 to 6 years, then you have the necessary skills or experiences required to look for better opportunities. Then you have higher intention to leave. But in this case, we can see that the beta coefficient is positive. That means this group has an observed significantly lower intention to leave as compared to those with only 1 to 2 years of clinical experience. Now we proceed to, okay, the next part of the results. So as you can see here, as you might probably observe, the foreign countries, we have included another category which is not applicable. So why is that? So why didn't we consider merging the not applicable to the no experience? So in studies such as credit risk analysis, those that are not answering questions in the questionnaire, they tend to give insights regarding their probability of defaulting or regarding their risk of defaulting. Now we have applied the same thinking here. We hypothesized that maybe those that did not answer the question about the foreign their experience about the foreign countries probably have additional insights. That's why we created a separate category for it. But it appeared that it is not significant. Now we proceed to the educational attainment, which is one of the factors that we considered before we even started the data collection. So we can see here, okay, the reference group for this one is the bachelor's in nursing. Now, based on the p-value, if you hold a postgraduate diploma, you have significantly higher intention to leave as compared to only those who have a bachelor's degree in nursing. So that's again intuitive, because the more qualifications you have, the more opportunities you have outside the organization. So it definitely increases your intention to leave the organization. So as you can see, if we observe that if the participants only hold a diploma, their intention to leave is lower as compared to those to those with um, bachelor's degree. Okay, although it's not significant, but still it provides relevant insights regarding how educational attainment plays in the intention to quit in the nursing workforce. Now we proceed to the conclusion. So my presentation is a bit short as compared to Professor um, uh, Magtulis. So we are on the last section of my talk. So for the conclusion, only 8% of the participants were identified with high intention to leave, driven by alternative, behavioral, normative, and constituent forces. And we also discovered that younger healthcare workers tend to have higher intentions with the job. Belonging to the 29 to 30 age group has a statistically significant negative effect, increasing intention to leave. It was found that those with 5 to 6 years of clinical experience at Dr. Sulaiman Al Habib Hospital, Al Kubar, and no experience abroad had statistically significant lower intention to leave. Again, it's intuitive because if you don't have any experience yet, then it's more likely that you will stay for some time in your organization to gain experiences to have other opportunities outside of it. And for the limitations, so we encountered several limitations in this study. So younger age, marital status, and having a postgraduate diploma significantly impacted the intention to stay. This may be due to factors such as women's desire to have children, religion, faith, and other related factors associated with this age group. Therefore, future research is recommended to study the causes that form an intention to quit the nursing practice. Hence, further research may use a mixed method. So this is the limitation of doing purely quantitative research. So the value that the qualitative part would bring would unlock other insights regarding the factors that affect turnover intention in nursing workforce. So we recommend to integrate that, the information for the qualitative part and the quantitative part, and it will provide broader in-depth knowledge of the factors that influence the turnover intention among healthcare workers. So I think that's all. And thank you very much. I hope you learned something new, and maybe you are interested in applying the same concept, the same design that we did in Saudi Arabia. So you can definitely do that in different industries here in the Philippines. So I have seen studies that use the instrument in the private sector, in industries outside the healthcare industry. So you can contact me if you need assistance with your study, if you plan to do the same. So with that, thank you very much, and I hope again you learned something new.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Balilla, for sharing your expertise with us. And we truly hope that the recommendations may be realized soon in further researches. So now we are opening the platform for your questions or any clarification, perhaps inquiries regarding the discussion of Mr. Balilla. So you may raise your concerns via the chat portion of this meeting, and you may also comment your questions if you have any in the live stream's comment section. And I think while they are thinking of their questions, and kapag meron, we would like to remind everybody about the evaluation link for the second session of the webinar series. So I have seen one here, sir, from AS4A student. She says, "Good morning, sir. Can you recommend some good statistical software such as JASP?"
Okay. So that's a great question. Thanks very much, Julie. Was that Julie? Yeah, I think that was Julie. So yeah, in terms of statistical software, we have several. We have, well, not several, but we have numerous. So in terms of JAS, it is quite similar to SPSS if you're familiar with it. However, the good thing about JAS is it's a freeware. So you can download it anytime, you can install it in your computer, and it's good to go. And the user interface of JAS is again similar to that of SPSS. So you'll not the learning curve for the JAS would be less if you're familiar with SPSS. Now, I think the best software in terms of statistics is still R, but in terms of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data science, I think Python has an edge. But you can still for the basic things and not only basic things, but both for basic and advanced statistical endeavors, you can use both R and Python. But for point and click software, I think JASP is one of the best. First, it is supported by the University of Amsterdam, so you don't have any problems with integrity of the software. However, JASP is still in the process of development. So if you will compare the functionality of JASP as compared to that of the SPSS, it has less. So SPSS still has an edge regarding functionality. But I prefer R and Python. I forgot the other software. Okay, I forgot the other software, which is also programming based. Maybe you can help me with that. That was one of the most famous or statistical package, maybe around 1990s or early 2000. I forgot the name. Yeah, SAS, exactly. So yeah, SAS. SAS has also this other versions like SAS Enterprise Miner. So if you plan to do data science, machine learning, you can also use SAS. And if you're adept in programming, you can also use the native, or I don't know how to call that, but the native SAS, I should say. So yeah, it depends on you. It depends on the project that you're working on. But the most flexible software, I think, would be R and Python. And that's my personal take on that. So thanks very much for that great question.
All right. So once again, we are entertaining your concerns. And I suppose the first inquiry was addressed well by our resource speaker. So for the CS Tech Committee, kindly prompt me if there are any inquiries via our YouTube live stream.
Maybe additional note, Ma'am Judy. So I think, to the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen any study in the Philippine context about nursing turnover intention. So yeah, maybe if you're already in your last year in your university and you're looking for a topic for your thesis, so I suggest that you explore that field.
All right, so perhaps we could consider Mr. Balilla's suggestion, especially to the students who are in their final years of studying for their researches and studies. All right. So I suppose there are no questions raised via our YouTube live stream, and I haven't seen any from our chat as well. So now, of course, to show our sincerest appreciation to our resource speaker, may we present the certificate of recognition. And of course, the same as we did earlier, we would also like to request our dear participants to open or turn on your cameras later for a short photo opportunity with our second resource speaker. So let me just read the citation. Bulacan State University College of Science Mathematics Department awards the Certificate of Recognition to Mr. Jeffhraim Balilla in grateful recognition and commendation of his invaluable efforts and exemplary performance as the resource speaker in the seminar titled Understanding Nursing Workforce Turnover Intention Through Statistics, an Evidence from Saudi Arabia, during the celebration of the 33rd National Statistics Month with the theme Boosting the Country's Recovery with Informed Decisions, Better Policies, held on October 28, 2022, via the official YouTube channel of the Bulacan State University College of Science, given this 28th day of October 2022, signed by Dr. Edgardo M. Santos, the Dean of the College of Science. So once again, hats off to you, Sir Balilla, and for once again accommodating our request.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So once again, we are enjoining everybody to turn on their cameras for a short photo opportunity. Okay, so once again, we will just be waiting for the prompt of our tech committee and to know kung kailan siya magka-capture ng image.
Yan. So we have more slides po ngayon. So ngiti-ngiti lang po para makuha ko lahat. Ayan. Okay, slide 1, smile po. Slide 2. Smile. Continue smile lang po Okay. Slide number 3. Okay, so hanggang slide 3 lang po yung may naka-open camera. So, yan. Kuha na po. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Aubrey. And once again, thank you to our dear resource speakers. And now to bring this program to a close, let us all hear from the very systematic and dedicated head of the mathematics department. Let us please welcome with a warm round of applause, Dr. Reyneline L. Duque.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Judy Ann. Can I see thumbs up if you can hear me clearly?
Clear
Okay,
po.
thank you. Thank you. So, indeed, no, our participation in the national celebration of the Statistics Month, this 2022, is a success. No, we started with an activity yesterday where we had visitors from the PSA, no, the Philippine Statistics Authority. They gave our students, no, as several sharings, no, very informative actually yung naging activity yesterday. Several topics were discussed, such as interactive database of PSA data, consumer price index and inflation, PSA website, and OpenStat. So actually, students are really so engaged yesterday, no, realizing that they can acquire data from the PSA. So especially our audience yesterday are fourth year applied stat major students. So this would really help them in their thesis writing, no, especially if they need data from which would include national level, no, on that very large scale. And then things such as information about poverty were also discussed. Lecture on civil registration were also discussed. So actually, it was a very jam-packed morning yesterday. And today we had our own webinar sessions. No, we would like to thank our resource speakers. No, our very own Ma'am Magtulis and Sir Balilla. No, we didn't hear or we didn't hear any inhibitions when we asked them to give us some sharing of what they know about statistics. No, this two individuals are really very ready, as always, to share their knowledge and expertise in stat. So we would like to envision our next stat month, no, 2023, no, which would, I hope, no, involve more of students, no. So I hope next month, as Dr. Ed Santos had mentioned during the welcome remarks, no, October would be about the stat month, no. So it would be October Statistics Month. So we would always look forward to it, and we would want to have Stat Month celebration next year to be somewhat more grand, no, where we could involve more students, no, they could brainstorm and uh, structure design activities which would benefit, no, our students, no, majoring in statistics, and in fact even our other non-stat major students, no, in the BS Math and even in the science courses. Okay, so we would like to thank all the participants for today's webinar sessions, the students from the different universities. No, we are so glad and happy to have you. I hope you have so much takeaways for today's from today's activities. So we would like also to thank the working committee, the College of Science Mathematics Department of the Bulacan State University, who worked hard, really hard, no, to put everything in place. I cannot say more, but I am 100% admiring you for your commitment and hard work. No, I'm so happy just to be part of your working team. So we would want to have more of this, no, in the coming celebrations, no. I hope to have you again, all the students from the different universities. I hope to see you again in our next activities in the college and even in the university, the Bulacan State University. So with that, thank you very much, Ma'am Judy Ann. Thank you very much, as always, for being our moderator, our always calm and always really gathered, no, really composed as always, Ma'am Judy Ann. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So with that, enjoy the rest of the day. God bless us, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Rainy Linduque. And it's always a delight, to, of course, serve as a moderator for any webinar from our dear college and from our dear mathematics department. And I truly hope that our participants have gained meaningful takeaways from our series of discussions for this morning. And of course, many thanks to our dear resource speakers once again. And of course, we would like to extend our gratitude and thanks to the organizing committee from the mathematics department. So once again, this has been your moderator, Miss Judy Anty Sumala. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for joining us in the 33rd National Statistics Month. Have a great day ahead, and God bless everybody. Thank you.
We shall carry